All right, let's move on to our next topic here, which is 74 school shootings since Newtown. So let's get on with this.
All right, after the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut in December of 2012, President Obama promised, quote, meaningful action to prevent more tragedies like this. His gun reform push, focused on a background check measure that had overwhelming public support, failed in the Senate last year, and Congress hasn't passed any other gun legislation. At least 74 school shootings happened during those 18 months. According to a tally by Everytown for Gun Safety, a group fighting to pass gun control laws. That's more than about one each week school was in session, with the longest gap between shootings spanning last summer's break from mid-June to mid-August. The most recent shooting happened Tuesday morning at a high school east of Portland, Oregon. The gunman and a student are reported dead.
Well, thank you, Joe, on that. Yeah, the most recent shooting, and I'll go over this real quick, and then you guys can go after this, is the most recent shooting was Portland, Oregon. The parents of the teenager who fatally shot a classmate at an Oregon high school released a statement Friday in which they apologized for their son's action, and they said they never promoted violence or hatred. I guess this kid's name was Michael. The father, I should say, was Michael, and his ex-wife, Christina, said they are at a loss for how and why the shooting occurred. The letter states, they taught Jared, which was the shooter, and their other children the values of compassion, forgiveness, patience, and love in Jesus Christ. And, of course, they were divorced Mormon parents. So I just wanted to put that out there, which was the recent shooting. So who wants to go first on this? Because I know it's going to be a pretty heated topic about this.
You know, obviously, school shootings are an issue, and they're becoming more and more of an issue. It's become like one of those things that when they talk about it on the news, you just ignore it. It's like if they talked about a car theft, you'd be like, yeah, this shit happens all the time. Well, that's how it's becoming, and we're of course getting. Yeah, and like this, the guy in the previous story said, he's like, you always think it'll never happen to you, but you hear about these stories like every day. I've gotten a call from the school system here, and they locked down all the schools because they caught a kid with a fucking gun in his backpack. Then my daughter goes to that school that they locked down. So I've been affected already, not necessarily in a tragic way, but in one way or another I've been affected. But you have to think that what we've done is we've become gun crazy, and while there will always be violence, guns or not, and there will always be murder, guns or not, what you have to do is look at the number or how easy it is basically, and the number of firearms murders that someone, instead of just pointing a gun and pulling a trigger, would have had to do like some actual work in order to go through with their plan or whatever. And places like Australia have finally opened their eyes, and they didn't go through a quarter of the bullshit that we're going through before they were like, okay, that's enough. And what they did is they in 1996 they had this is total homicides in Australia. 1996, 354.
Wow.
1999, 385. That was the most. And then in 2007, after all these new regulations were put in place, it's down to 282.
That's not okay. 1 year.
But that's
what was the population of Australia?
Like 22 million, I believe.
Yeah, it's probably around there. But TJ, go ahead.
Anyway,
you're making a good point.
I'll put the link in the chat when I'm done with this. But you can read the article for yourself. But it says, and that's for total murders. All right. So, like it says, furthermore, murders using firearms have declined even more sharply than murders in general since the 1996 gun law. That was the original time when the law was put in place, and then it took years to actually get all the weapons
off the street
destroyed or whatever. It says in the 7 years prior to 1997, firearms were used in 24% of all Australian homicides. But most recently, firearms were used in only 11% of Australian homicides, according to figures for the 12 months ending July 1st, 2007. Huh. That's a decline of more than half since enactment of the gun law to which this message refers. This is a response to a bullshit email that was put out saying like, oh, crime has gone way up, like 44% in Australia ever since they did this. It's just they don't have this insane, gun mentality, and the culture. The culture is ridiculous. Yeah, I'm actually thinking of going out and buying like a big ass gun because I'm at the point where I don't
Because
want
you
to
have
be
a
the
small
only
penis?
motherfucker that's unarmed. Jesus, you know, I'm not saying I'm going to carry it around on me all the time, or I'm going to go whip it out in Chili's and like, look at this, or some retarded shit like some of
Yeah.
these people are doing. But
Because you don't want to whip out your penis, that's
I
why.
don't want to be the only motherfucker out there without one of these things, and I'm, you know, that just puts you at a great disadvantage, and it makes me.
Sure.
It's like if everyone else is holding a nuke, you don't want to be the one moron that's standing there like, huh?
Well, nuke. I mean, like that's.
You know what I mean? Like if
I know what
someone,
you're talking about.
or if you don't want everyone else. I guess grenade is a bad example.
Exactly.
Because you really don't need a grenade either. So I mean,
No,
it's
you
not
don't.
a good example. But the point is, I'm actually to the point where it's affecting me to live in this country with the craziness and the gun culture. And I mean, everybody's armed, man. They had Uzis, by the way, at the gun shop that I went and looked at. They had like freaking Uzis.
Uzis. Awesome.
I mean, yeah, they're just
they're just Uzis.
No, well, they take handguns, they put huge extended clips in them, and then they make them, you know, rapid fire, or automatic, or whatever. They put the modifications.
And they put
on.
a mod on it. Yeah.
It's basically a fucking Uzi.
Silly, Drew.
Kind of mimicking or echoing what Octopus just said about guns making it easy and everything. Like I said, I've told y'all earlier, I had just finished reading Demon Hunter World by Carl Sagan, and in one of the last chapters, he had a really good quote about that. And his quote is just 5 words, but it was that guns make impulsive killing easy. You think about what it used to take, you know, to kill people and things like that and do those things. Now, as soon as you have a firearm, you're immediately lethal. And that's one of the things that I think, I don't want to get into the whole ban every gun
Debate,
everywhere kind of thing, but I'm just talking like common sense. Some of the things that I looked at here, Americans are 20 times as likely to die from gun violence as citizens of other civilized countries. Along the lines of Australia used to take what was called the American approach to guns, and it changed in 1996 after a mass shooting in Tasmania that resulted in the deaths of 35 people and 23 people were wounded. Since Australia enacted its gun control legislations, homicides did drop, and the numbers range up to around 60%. And every stat that I've found in Australia shows that there are increasingly, every year, they go increasingly lower for homicide rates involving guns.
Good stats there, man. Thanks.
Yeah, but the thing is, in the United States, actual overall homicide rate and gun violence rate is actually down, even with the school shootings. When the school shootings, it's not a recent thing. It's been happening. The thing is, it gets more media attention, of course.
Correct.
Of course.
But school shootings have been they've been happening for. It's not a new thing. It's okay. It's been happening for decades now. But you want to talk about homicides with guns or with firearms, and how America, it's not we're gun crazy. It's and we're not actually as bad as other countries with homicide by firearms. We're actually lower than other ones, which is one thing I brought up. The U.S. per 1,000 population, we're only at 3.6 firearm-related deaths per 100,000 people. You go to places like Brazil, and you have 18.1. You go to Honduras, it's 64.8. You know, Colombia, well, of course, Colombia, 27.1. Even we're talking about, like, you know, we're talking about a civilized world, I guess. Israel has, it's low.
Wait.
It's only less than, it's only 0.94. So
did I read
Israel
Did I look at those charts wrong?
That's not his charts. These are my charts. Sorry.
Okay,
You guys seen
I'm
that? Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, okay, yeah. I mean, Israel, yeah, it has a low rate, but it still has people that are killed. So you can't eliminate it either way, too. I mean, Australia has a low rate, but they have 23 million people, and it took a massive turn in, you know, massive effort to get all the weapons. It's not going to happen here. You have to do something about trying to get it out of the hands of people who shouldn't have them, but there's no way you can ever try to completely disarm or confiscate. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
that's not. No one's talking about completely disarming. I don't think anyone here supports that.
But the thing is, you can't go like, well, there's so many guns, we got to restrict it. There's too many guns. Well, okay, it doesn't matter if there's, a billion guns in the U.S. or if there's what we have now. It's the way it's policy in place. It's the public. It's the society that is the one who dictates what happens with it. Like Brazil, okay, they have a lot more firearm-related death, and they have a lot less guns than we do in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would also say when you're comparing a place like America to places like Colombia and Brazil and Israel, who is always, I mean, there's been war going on in that region since.
Yeah, and Israel's actually good.
Before they became a nation,
.94, which they're actually good. It's like one in 100,000 people dies from firearm. Yeah, I mean, or
right, and I understand what you're saying.
They're still.
Yeah, but I'm saying also, like, if you compare us to places like the UK and Australia, I mean, it is like overwhelmingly, it happens here in way bigger numbers. And the stats, I don't know if you would even try to argue that, but the stats show where there are more guns, there are more gun-related deaths.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be the trend.
Beyond just stats. That's common sense.
It's basically
doesn't it make sense, right?
Guns on the streets.
That's what I'm saying.
That, yeah.
And I just to mirror, and I'll go, Paul, just to mirror real quick what Coctopus said.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up here a little bit. Guys,
okay, yeah. I don't think anyone here. I know me and TJ at least are not pushing some kind of all guns need to be banned.
Hell no.
Type thing.
I'm pushing responsible gun ownership.
No. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying definitely responsible gun ownership. But I'm saying more guns, more violence. But that's not always the case. It's about the culture. It's about actual proper
training.
I guess if you're just stockpiling a stockpile and you don't actually use them properly and you don't actually learn about weapons and you think you stay afraid of them or you don't actually familiarize yourself with them, then yeah. But
it's not about what I do with the weapon. It's what
I'm saying society in general. That's why Switzerland's a lot better than it is here, because they actually familiarize themselves with the weapon. They actually know what they're not afraid of. Oh my God, a gun! Oh, I'm gonna go running. They actually know what a weapon is. They know how to etc. They're familiar with it. If people are afraid of it, and then they do knee-jerk reactions, stupid things, because of that.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to cut you guys off. Let's leave it at that. If you guys want to continue this debate, you can go to this video when it's uploaded and hit the comment section. And, of course, the host will be involved in that comment section. But I want to end it here. What I want to say is, which none of you guys really touched on, and is when it comes to school shootings is, well, of course, yeah, gun control. I think we do need gun control when it comes to assault weapons. Okay, but I have changed my views over this a little bit. I've talked with a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people in general. I don't think when it comes to these school shootings that gun control is solely the issue here. I believe there's an issue with mental health or the lack of treatment of mental health with children. I think we need to fund, or the government should fund, some kind of program that teaches parents the warning signs of a child being bullied, want revenge, a violent role model, and mental illness, and a program that actually helps children by getting the care they need. We need something like that. And I think there are a few programs going out there now. I'm not aware of it right now, but
most likely all put out by the Republicans, I'm sure.
It could be, but I think mental.
No.
I know. I was joking too, but I'm just saying is mental illness is an issue, especially in a lot of the recent shootings. I mean, like a lot of these kids have known mental illnesses with parents with guns. There's an issue here. There's an issue that needs to be taken care of, and parents need to be trained, I think, to a certain point, or watch some kind of video or something with their. I don't know. I'm just putting stuff out there. So maybe you guys can hit the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are, what's out there, what's not. But let's be clear here. There is no single certain answer to these questions we ponder. There's really not. It's a very subjective topic, and we can go back and forth for fucking hours on this topic. But I just want to hit it a little bit, see what you guys thought. I think it's something we do have to discuss. It's subjective, but hopefully we can work on this problem, this issue. And you got to remember, when it comes to the shootings in schools, it's very, very low when it comes to fatalities. I'm like, look at suicides, children's suicide. up there.
Look at accidents.
You know what I mean? Look at accidents. Look at these issues.
Accidents.
Look at intentional shootings outside of
and
the
I
school
think the
done
media,
by children.
Yeah, and the media really gets everybody in uproar about guns. I understand that. I understand that. There's no, but you know what? We have to think about this stuff subjectively and try to be as objective as possible in our solutions. That's all I'm going to say here on this.
I just want to finish by saying, Paul, hand your gun over to Obama right away.
Okay.